This is one of the first live videos I made. I didn't have to prepare myself this much for it, but I still did because usually I'd begin such a video with telling myself how much I hate my voice. But I'm forced to come up with a motive today since I hate my voice so much. Life. What is life? Life is this feeling. It's memories which you string together to form this chronology. This chronology consists of such a complex charter of emotion. The tense I'm using doesn't even make sense, but it doesn't remove the meaning of what it is. Life is our memories in the end. When you ask yourself, hey, what's life? The answers you get are memories. Life is with your loved ones. Memories. Life is about even experiences are memories. Then what's death? Death is like not being able to experience anymore memories. Death is... what is death? Death is a silence. Death is the end. That's what you first think when you hear death. But if life is nothing but a recollection of memories, you reminding yourself of memories, and death is the end of you reminding yourself of that recollection, then what is the motive of life itself? Is it to just accumulate memories and for them to be deleted? Then if that's the case, then why accumulate memories in the first place? Why not be a slave to sensation? That's the main point right there. If life is nothing but an accumulation of memories, and if death is nothing but the end of that trip, then why not live a life where you focus more on sensation? In fact, where you're a slave to sensation. The better question is, why don't we? The connections in our lives are just seen as these important things. We must keep said promise to thee, we must keep said promise to thee. Why are we not able to let go? We think that not letting go makes us a better person. We think that not letting us go means that we get into our heaven, but you know the point is that we think that it's something more than that, when in the end that is all that there really is. It's to tell ourselves that we're better people than we are, because what even is the difference between a person and an animal? Nothing. There is no difference between person and animal. There's this quote I had heard from a person. It was, knowing physics gives you peace. And I thought, hey, that means knowledge gives you peace. That's interesting. Now I realize that it's not knowledge that gives you peace. Knowledge gives you chaos. It's the ignorance. It's in the ignorance of thinking that you know or have the knowledge enough to relax when you relax. It's when you are able to convince yourself that you know enough when you relax. True knowledge does not make you relax. True knowledge makes you spiral, I'd say. Like, for example, when you realize what I just said, then you realize that there's not really any point in accumulating knowledge, because why even accumulate knowledge in the first place? I'm not saying that I don't accumulate knowledge, but I'm not going to deny when I say I don't. I'm not going to deny a person if they ask me if I do it for because other people, to impress other people. Because deep down, subconsciously, in every single one of us, there is that tendency to want that affirmation from the other person. That we have this knowledge and we want to be affirmed for it. Every single person has that inside of them, but we just don't accept it. That is something which is seen pretty commonly in a lot of people. Yeah, that's the case with pretty much anybody. Like, we all are nothing but these affirmation wanting animals. Some animals feed off of leaves. Some animals feed off of meat. We feed off of affirmation. Where do you throw these? I'm gonna make a joint and I'm gonna come back. Well, that didn't work out. Another thing. I've been having anger issues of recent. Very bad anger issues. Um, like sudden punches of anger, and with that I've began taking substances. I don't do weed and hash, and I feel like that is thanks to my undiagnosed, probably not even existent, overcompulsive disorder. Most teens lie to their parents about drugs. Most teens do that, even if their parents are cool with it. Like, for example, if I was fucking phone. Okay, if I can't fucking focus, but I can when you're convincing yourself. Fuck. What was I even saying? Okay. Overcompulsive disorder. Okay. I remember. Going back to the point. Where the fuck are my raws? You're fucking. Come on, man. Shut the fuck up. Now. Let's say that I was a normal teen. Even if I had a good relationship with my parents, I would still feel this fear. All kids feel that fear. They're like, no, I don't feel like telling my parents. I'm just not feeling it. Unfortunately, that's not an option for me. If I suddenly get this jolt of uncomfort, this banging in the back of my head, saying, if you do not tell this fact to your mother, you are going to die. Almost those exact fucking words. In that case, if I did not tell my mother, I will probably be on the verge of committing suicide. Even then, I was able to do velo, and that was after me slowly convincing my parents. There's this technique I use. All right, it's a very weird technique, but if you sort of half give the truth to your parents, like, oh हाँ velo दोस्त ने दी थी ये वो, or like, hey, my friend was offering me some velo and stuff, and you don't say anything after. You don't give hints, anything. It's like a half thing. You can still tell your brain that, hey, you know what, I did tell the truth. You can convince yourself a little bit. Even then, when it gets a bit more serious, in the end, trust me, your brain's gonna win. OCD sort of shows to be a defense mechanism, you know? No, like, I don't mean OCD in the context that you need to tell this person. I don't mean the impulsive urges, but in the sense of it sort of being like, I mean it in the sense of being delusionally thoughtful about basically people leaving you, or just in general about people betraying you and stuff. Like, you know, when you get delusional thoughts, like borderline delusional thoughts about, hey, this person is lying to me, or hey, this person is doing this or doing that. Like, I feel like that is a very deep rooted defense mechanism. You know, one thing that people most commonly reply with when you talk to them about life, like as I mean as a response to what life means, it's gonna be love. Life is made for us to love, to feel compassion, so that we can make one another happy. Do you know where love is from? Love is more or less, give or take, a derivative of two things. Number one is sexual reproduction. You know, like that. It's not gonna happen itself. You need a woman to, you know, stick it into. So, you know, your brain does some chemical stuff. The man feels a bit something, the woman feels a bit something. Hey, look, there's a child on the fucking desk now. And the second one, which I'm still not sure where its derivative is from, nor do I have the research to back up my claims. But when we were cavemen, humans used to hunt in tribes. They used to take care of one another as a group and all that Barbie stuff, you know. So when we were hunting in these groups, when we learned to share, when we learned to more or less learned to use one another for an advantage, maybe, just maybe, that is when we started to develop more need for one another. Just maybe. And then the third one, the one where we do all of that stuff so we can convince ourselves that we are these feeling things, these people who feel something, you know, that we're not but animals. Okay. That's a very beautiful roll right there. I'd fuck that thing if it wasn't paper. But look, the point is that when we think that all of these things we feel are so based or so real, are nothing but just fake sensations, then what would you call a human? What would you call life? What would you call death? What is the substrate that binds it all into that one definition, which is intangible to us? Like, what is that thing? It's just, what is that thing? The essence of life, death, consciousness, spirit. Who gives us that? Is it a god? Is it a demon? Is it a dimension? Another universe which simulated us? What is that? Or maybe we're just nothing but these existing things which aren't conscious, because remember, you can't prove that you're conscious if you don't know you felt consciousness. You know? The only thing that you really know is that you're here. That's the only thing you can really prove. And, you know, in the end, I have to be very honest. I'm not sure if that's a happy thought or a sad thought. If you're wondering, I'm still here, so I didn't kill myself or, like, convince myself or like bind myself in drugs. Thankfully, or not thankfully. I wish I could do drugs. But wow, that is a very new sensation. Never felt that before. But yeah, what is that thing? It's I have a few theories. One, the thing is that, like, lots of people, they think that, maybe there's a way that we can find it in our souls, in our heart, this purpose, this meaning, this tangible answer to the universe. But what they don't understand is that, look, I know there's some controversy about Yuval Harari and stuff. Like, I know about that. I don't know exactly why people think that he's a pseudo intellectual and stuff. I'm not sure of that. What I do know is that he wrote this thing in his book about, one, the nilly the NILI stuff done by the British and this person named Sarah something in the first war of Gaza. Fucking weak. And along with that, there was this pigeon thing which happened in I don't know what fucking year, where some pigeon was given this letter and he saved this entire backdrop of army some things. But the thing is that, the NILI in the first battle of Gaza, what they did is they used shutters to communicate to one another. Like, the shutters of a house were opening and closing in such a sequence in such a way that it could be interpreted as information. And the pigeon was carrying a note which had data written on it, which was to be passed on to the ongoing cargo, which was about to land its drop onto their own army people. Now, here's the thing, those nobody who's looking at those shutters externally could be aware that those shutters were actually data, and the shit that the termite was the stuff that the pigeon was carrying in its foot, which was about to die for, could have been food for it had no idea what was in that note. For all it knew, it could have been food for fucking termites, as I just said. The fuck is this? Like, this is genuinely the most confusing shit I've ever done. I rolled it so well though. Anyway, point being what? Point being that when you have no idea what data is, why data is, when data is, or how data is, then how the actual fuck do you think that you can just spiritually connect with the universe? Because look, you don't know anything. For all you know, the walls could be these things, these data communicating things, which are telling you to hide and run from these other things you literally do not know of every single second. But it just could be that every single second you're just being fucking lucky. And the way you die is that this entity just catches up to you and it finds you. And it's just really stupid at fucking looking for you. That could be what life and death is, but we don't know because we are not interpreting the universe in that context. Our context defines what exists. You know that it took me a very long time to realize what that sentence means, but now I just get it, you know. You wanna know what's inside of this? It's fucking Nesquik. This thing has Nesquik rolled inside of it. But via the process of the placebo effect, I'm going to convince myself that I'm going to get a buzz, even when I'm not sure it's even possible. Because that's just how the brain works. The only thing dangerous in this thing literally is just the you know, when you can convince yourself of anything so simply, how do you even know anything exists? This is what you called getting derailed. I should probably stop. What's the point of this conversation? What's the point of this argument? The point of discussing the Nilly experiments and yeah, the point is of all that reality is not something that can be judged by us because we ourselves don't know what real is. We are literally so bound to our contexts that the only thing which we can know is real is is just what's there, and again it is very hard to describe this in English or any language through which we communicate, because the thing about that is that they're limited. Like there's this word, there's this word zaria 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 means mode. Let's say that you need transportation which reaches you from A to B in this long. How long is that? I don't know how long is that. I'm getting an urge to burn the laptop again. That's not good. That would be less than a second. 0. How much is that? Yeah, that's chocolate tastes nice. That would be about a very short amount of time, right? Who gives a fuck what time it is? Time's a construct. So in this scenario, let's say that point A is Jupiter and point B is Andromeda, some planet in fucking Andromeda. Do you think you could reach from Jupiter to Andromeda in this? No. Why? Because the modes that we use to get from Jupiter to Andromeda are inefficient. They're not able to contextualize this big of an idea. Our brains are limited. They're not able to comprehend an idea this big. This big. Because they're fucking limited. We're limited beings. We're limited to our contexts. And maybe we can say, yeah, that every single being which exists is using the data which they've accumulated from their birth to the time they're here now. But we don't know that there's an alternative because we can't comprehend one. So what's life? Life is what we make of it. That's literally life is what we fucking make of it, because in the end, we maybe exist, maybe we don't. We don't even know what both of those words even mean. We're children playing with big fucking words. People will say, no, we know we exist because we're here. You're contextualizing you're here, and you believe you're here using your imagination and your contexts which you build. It's imagination and context. Maybe I sound like a schizophrenic, but it's true. You can't prove anything because they're all just imagination and fucking contexts. All that you maybe is that you're probably there because you're experiencing something which I cannot describe because I'm too because humanity is too inexperienced to describe it. No amount of research is gonna fucking get you there. Because research is again context which you're seeing with your fucking eyes. Even what I'm saying right now is what I'm seeing with my is data which I've seen with my eyes. And that's the thing. When every single thing that you've accumulated, all the data that you've accumulated is just that, an accumulation, then how do you know any of it's real? And how do you know that what you are thinking is even correct because it's trapped within context of your experience. This is what you can't describe using English or any fucking language because you're bound to your experiences. Honest to God, I prefer tobacco. This is shit. So crunchy too. Is why it's so crunchy? Look at that smoke. It's literally more than the one coming out of my fucking mouth. Here, at least I'm a fucking natural at rolling now. If my kid asked me to do drugs with him, I'm gonna be honest, I would do it with him once a month. Cause because you know, if you tell your kid no, you're never gonna do drugs, then he's gonna go and do fucking drugs. If you're like, hey, son or daughter or whatever the fuck your gender is, because I'm fucking everything, so I'm not gonna limit my child to a male or a female. Not that I give a fuck, but like, like if you're gonna tell your kid that you can't smoke, then he's gonna smoke. But if you're like, hey, for whatever the fuck you are, every single 13th day of the month, you're gonna sit with me. We're gonna do like 5 joints at once, but on the condition that you never do it any day other than that. What would you do? What if you were a fucking kid? Then how would you respond to that? You know, how would you respond to that? First of all, you would need a really good relationship with your father. And from what I know, relationships are a really weird thing. Like, I don't know, my knowledge and inferences on them are evolving. Like, but yeah, when you let your kid do something to some extent and you're like, hey, don't do it, then they're just gonna listen to you, you know, because you're reasoning with them. Also, you also do fucking joints, dude. Like, you also do you've done joints. Don't limit your kid from something which you've done so many times. I've thought of this dilemma a while ago, and I was like, you know what? That's a good idea. I was like, wait, would I allow my kid to have drugs? What if you do it limited? Yeah. For cigarettes, I don't know. For joints, definitely. For cigarettes, I'm not sure. Vapes, he can do them all fucking day, and she can do them all fucking day and night. Yeah, that's life for you all. This was very unscripted, if you can't tell. I'm gonna do my best to not listen to my voice because I just feel disgusted by it. It's time for me to sleep. I hate saying that. I fucking hate saying that. But I gotta do something, shan't I? Well, it's time to go now. Goodbye.